Hi, everybody. I'm Sandy Sandler, and I'm behind the scenes, and I'm here with Joette, who is our Bowdabra design team member. And I'm going to have her take over the live tonight. So she's going to be making some great projects, and she'll start by putting her wire in, and then she's going to make some swag and a bunch of other things.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. Yes, I'm going to start out by making a general bow that can be gift wrap, wreath bow, whatever. And I'm using 1.5-inch ribbon. And I think the whole stack is 1.5-inch ribbon. I'm going to start out with some pre-dovetailed tails. Find the center and place them down in the Bowdabra. And then I'm going to start out funky bow style, but then end it traditional style. So I'm going to find my center, place it in upside down, and then I'm just going to fold it over, make a loop on each side, and then that gives me a couple of tails that also will represent a loop. And I'm going to go ahead and do this same thing. Actually, I thought it was going to be funky, but it looks like I started out doing another way. It's not how I cut it, but that's all right. It'll still turn out pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with my ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and spread my loops while I'm making it. Next, I have some gold twinkle ribbon. I'm going to place this down as a tail. So I'm just finding the center and placing it pretty side up. And now I'll go ahead and do funky. So I've got pre-dovetailed pieces, and I'm going to twist and put a tail down, and then I'm going to fold it over and bring another tail across. So I want that pretty
Please let
side
us
up.
know where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, please say I'm watching the replay and put that in the comments.
I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite with the same piece of ribbon. So I've got a loop on each side and 2 tails on each side. And now I've got my green line, and it matches the dots in the blue that I'm using. So I'm going to find the center, place it down in the Bowdabra, give it some long tails. And then this is what I was talking about, the traditional bow. So I'm going to twist and fold this one. So twist and fold. This doesn't have a wrong or right side, but if it did, I would tell you to go ahead and start out with the wrong side, and then when you twist and fold, it brings it over to the right side. So I've got 2 loops on each side for this one. And then here's my last piece. It's going to be my button loop. So I can twist it now to give it a little bit more stability into the Bowdabra. It helps less slippage that way. I'm going to go ahead and fold a little loop about half the size over, and then I have a little tail that'll blend with the tails that I put in at the beginning. So I can scrunch it now if I need to. Give it a good scrunch, and I'm going to pull my wire up. I'm going to pull the loose ends through the loop in while it's still in the Bowdabra. Pull it tight. Remove it. Pull it tight again. Bring those loops separated to the back and tie them in a nice tight knot. And then we fluff. So I've got to bring my tails down. I want to get them even. So some are longer than the others. So I'm going to make sure they blend in. I'm going to fluff my loops. I'm going to start from the bottom and also bring those tails up. So there's my center loop. Probably help if I put it flat. You might be able to see it better. So you pull the loops apart. And if they're different sizes, I want my shorter loops at the top. Run your fingers through them as you open them up. And that's part of fluffing. And then you end up with a beautiful bow in just a few minutes. So you can keep adjusting your tails, and that would be pretty on a wreath. Or you could use it as a package bow. There's lots of uses for something like this, or a gift bag. I think they're pretty on a gift bag because of the tails. So I'm going to set this aside, and looks like let's do our wreath bow. So I'm going to get a length of Bowdabra bow wire. It's actually not a wreath bow, it's a swag bow. this week. But you could use it on a wreath as well. It could be a wreath attachment. So I've placed my Bowdabra bow wire folded in half and down into the Bowdabra. And I'm going to start out with tails, but I want to show you this little trick. Alexa, off. Alexa, turn off. Sorry. That's my clock tonight. I don't know what's wrong with her. It's trending to have a two-sided ribbon. We usually have an ugly side and a pretty side. Well, our ugly side is going to be pretty, but it's not our main side. So I wanted to show you that I did this. Alexa, power off. We're using double-sided tape, and you just kind of tape them together. And so I've got my pre-dovetailed tails. I'm going to place them down into the Bowdabra. So you find the center and place them in. And now I'm going to go ahead and start making my loops. And I've done the same thing with this layer. So I'm going to fold it in half. Now you don't have to tape it down. You can just layer them, but it's a lot easier. It stays together prettier if you do tape it down. So I'm going to do like a shoe bow on each side. So I want these loops to be kind of big. And again, I'm going to have tails that also represent loops, but they're dovetailed. You can use less ribbon this way if you use your tails in your loops, but if you're using them as loops, you want them to be short, kind of even with the loops, or a little bit bigger. So I'm using this, that's burlap and this firework ribbon. So I've got a piece of our Bowdabra blue burlap, and I'm going to place it down into the Bowdabra, just right in the center, and I'm going to make a loop on each side. And kind of making them the same length as the first ones. And then I have two tails here. I have another one of our Bowdabra ribbons, but I've paired it with the blue. And I'm going to do the same thing. Find the center and place it in upside down. And just make one loop on each side. So two loops. Same thing. And then I have our regular burlap that we started out with at the bottom, but on the back side. I'm going to find the center, place it in. This one does have a wrong side. You can see the wire shining through it. So I want to make sure I have it in. You want to make sure you put it in upside down and then cross over like this, having your loops the same or similar. And then last but not least, what I started with was a piece of this burlap and firework ribbon. And I'm going to make a little, I'm going to put it in upside down and make a little loop with a little tail. Let's go a little bit smaller there. And so I didn't tape that piece because it was smaller. So we want to give it a good scrunch. And then take your Bowdabra bow wire. Pull the loose ends through the loop again. Pull it tight while it's still in here. And you have this really large bow, and it's holding it together for me already. And I didn't have to make this in my hand because the Bowdabra is doing that for me. It's my third hand. So I'm separating the ends, bringing them to the back. Give it another good tug. Make sure there's no slack in the wire. Tie it in a nice tight knot. And then you want to fluff it. So just pull your loops. Again, separate them. And separate your tails because you do have tails in there incorporated with the loops. So anyway, you want to fluff and shape. And pull the longer tails to the bottom. And we're going to set this aside because this is going to be our bow for our swag. And we'll fluff it a little bit more once we get it onto the swag. Because we're going to end up doing the work twice as we do it. But you end up with a beautiful big bow. Oops. You can see now it's not fluffed that good. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and we'll fluff it some more in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the Bowdabra back. And I'm going to get a length of Bowdabra bow wire. And find the middle of it, place it down in the Bowdabra, tuck the ends underneath and out of the way, and we're going to start out with a piece of this 21-inch wide, probably about 1.5 yards of this red, white, and blue striped gecko mesh. So what I've done, I'm rolling it under about 3 times, and then I'm going to find a stripe. Looks like the red and the blue is where the center is. So I'm going to scrunch it down in. Just try to stay in line with the big stripe. And then when you get to the end, you want to make sure it's curled under, and then push that down, and you end up with this giant flower-shaped base. That's a great, it can make a wreathless wreath, a door swag, a centerpiece, all kinds of things. So we're going to start out with Dax. Okay, you got to be very quiet. We're going to start out with this ficus, and we're going to put it in as the bottom. If you saw our video Friday, Dax was in our video. Okay, I've got 2 pieces of ficus. I'm going to put one on this side and one on this side. Okay, you can help, but you got to be very quiet, okay? So I've got here's my frame of my base. I've got 2 ficuses and the one cascading. Flip that over. So this is a bush of geraniums. And what I like to do is split them. I like to get my shorter ones. Oh. And we have the shorter ones on one side and the longer ones on the other. So I'm going to place them down in the Bowdabra like this. I've left my longer ones on this side, and I left that big stem here so that would make it.
It's mine.
Shh. I left it right. Sorry, this was totally unexpected. Okay, I'm going to put this right here, and so that gives it the shorter side. It makes them even. It balances them out. All right, so next I'm going to take some pansies, and I've kind of fluffed them out already, but that's a bush, and that's kind of my filler flowers. So I'm going to place them on one side, and then I'm going to take some roses. I like the cluster. I don't always balance them out, but when you're at the end, it does balance because you can spread them. So I'm going to put my roses on one side, and then I'm back on this side, and I'm putting Dax. I'm going to get your mommy. I'm going to put, looks like a Queen Anne's lace right here.
Yep.
And I've got a little peony, and then I'm going to go back to this side. So I'll put white on this side, and blue on this side. So I've got my hydrangea there. So we can, at the end, I'm going to have to interrupt this live and remove somebody if he doesn't quit. Okay, I'm going to bring my looped in of my Bowdabra bow wire up, and I'm going to get my loose end.
To watch this video.
I'm going to pull it tight in the Bowdabra. I don't know what to do. Okay. I'm going to remove it and pull it tight. Dax, quiet.
No.
And then tie it in the back side. Well, this is a test for videoing. Never. See if I can keep concentrating on what I'm doing with an interruption. Okay, and then I'm going to take and bring it around. But you know what? I could leave it like this and not put a bow in it, but just pull everything forward. Or I can go back and add my bow. And we're going to do that.
Cut right here.
Shh. Stop. Okay, and now I'm going to take it and tie this bow back through where I came from with the first one. I could make this in here all together, but I did it separate so you could see the bow. But now we just fluff it, and this is what we have. We have a beautiful door swag. And I want to make sure you can pull your flowers forward and get them into your bow.
And give it to your mama.
And give it to your mama. There you go. It's a great 4th of July patriotic summer, something you can leave up all summer.
I want to give that to my mom.
Okay, I'm sure your mom will take it. Dax, I wish you could read so you could help read comments or something or film. But we're going to take another length of Bowdabra bow wire, place it down in the Bowdabra, and looks like we are going to be making another.
Mommy, this is not open.
Thank you.
I'm doing trash.
Okay. Saved by the mama. All right. Thank you, Kylie. All right, we're gonna start out. I think I'm gonna make another gift wrap bow. So I'm gonna grab my favorite thing, glitter, Sandy. I'm gonna grab my glitter ribbon. Whew, that was a challenge. We're going to take. So this is tulle, and I guess it's about 8 inches wide. Whatever tulle, it's the same thing as tulle, but it's actually wired. So I'm gonna roll it underneath, but I need my pretty side up. I'm gonna roll it about 3 times, just like I do the deco mesh. And I'm going to make another scrunchy bow. This is about 1.5 yards. I'm going to find the center. And it helps if you just lay it out straight. Sometimes tulle and deco mesh will catch on things. So I'm just going to scrunch it down into my Bowdabra. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to curl it under about 3 times. And then what you do is you push it down so that the pretty side is up. And it makes it florally base. It's actually really pretty. So next we're going to add some gold. I like mixing silver and gold and creams and stuff like that together. And I'm going to just make a little loopy bow. So I've got 2 tails and 2 loops. I don't need that piece. I cut an extra piece just in case. And then I've got, this matches the tulle that I just used on the bottom, and it also, all of this is swirl ribbon. So this is like a 1 inch wide or half. This isn't quite an inch, so 3/4. So I'm going to make a funky bow with this. So I've got 2 tails, 1 loop. I'm going to go to the opposite side and do the same thing. And keep on going back and forth. Just going to the opposite side. We're going to do this 4 times. And that was my grandson, Dax, making that grand entrance like that. So, in case you didn't know who that was. And he likes to make videos now. So we're going to so we have a little base. We've got 2.5 inch wide, 8 inch wide. We got different things going on here. And then we can lay a flower in the top. So I've got a little hydrangea stem or pick, and I'm going to place that right there in the center. So I folded this down, but you can trim it as well. So we're going to pull it tight while it's still in the Bowdabra. Remove it and separate the ends. Bring them to the back side and tie it in a knot. So this would make a great gift bag or gift wrap bow as well. So just want to fluff it out, get that little ruffle at the bottom. Ruffle bow, scrunchy bow, whatever you want to call it. Then we just want to separate the tails. Get those loops fluffed out and showing. We don't want any loops hiding. And then we have the big loops. Fluff them out, and then the tails, and then you end up with a beautiful, like perfect for a wedding or something elegant package bow. So I'm going to set that aside, and we're going
Yeah, I love
to
that swirl ribbon for weddings. I think it's so
it's
pretty.
so sheer and elegant. Oh, we still have plenty of time, so I think we're going to make a little mini lantern swag. So got the 4th of July coming up, and you'll be having guests over and entertaining. So just little things like this that you can sit around make a big difference. So I just laid stuff out. I wasn't really sure what I would make with this. If we had extra time, I thought I'd make it, but I do have another one to end with. So I'm going to go ahead and place my Bowdabra bow wire in. And let's see, we're going to make one on the fly. So I'm going to put this in first. I want to make my tails even or close enough. So I've got some of our tribute ribbon. I think that's called Tribute from Bowdabra.com. And some of our Bowdabra burlap. So I'm going to go ahead and Make sure both ends are dovetailed. So to dovetail, you want to fold your ribbon in half. You want to cut it at a diagonal from the edges to the center crease. And then you get a nice crisp dovetail. So I'm going to go ahead and scrunch that in the middle. Place it down in the Bowdabra. And then I have I can actually put these together like I did to begin with the Door Swag, or I could do them separate, and I think I'm going to do them separate. So I want to go ahead and dovetail this piece. And what I'm going to do is place this in. Let's see, I want them to go the same direction. That'll work. Okay, so when you have a powdered ribbon like this and you want them to go the same direction, cut them apart and do them like this. As if you did the twist and fold loopy bow, you would actually have them going back and forth in opposite directions. So we want them to stay together. And let's see, I had some greenery I wanted to place in here. So I've got little crumbs of ficus leaves, so I'm going to place them. I've got 3 leaves. I'm placing 1 on this side and 2 on that side. I'll do the opposite on this side. So that way it can't slip out once we tie it up. And okay, let's see what I'm going to do. So I dovetailed that, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in scrunchy bow style. And I don't know how long. I don't want it too long because it's thick, so I'm going to cut those tails off. And to do that, I'm going to fold it under a couple of times and just give it a little rosette looking center is what it'll end up looking like. So I'm going to roll that under, place that down in, and then I'm going to take the loose ends and pull them through the looped end. Pull it tight, remove it. It's already really cute. So this can turn a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead, since it's so thick, it'll roll over. I want it to roll over, but I want to have a grip on it before I let it do that. I'll pull it tight, bring the ends to the back, and tie it in a nice tight knot. So then you can just fluff your little ruffles and hide your little wire and pull the tails out. If you want those separated, I'm going to pull some loops. This would make a pretty scrappy bow too, where you just had actually scrap ribbon. Actually, we might do one of those in a little bit. Alright, so now you might need a bigger lantern than this, but you have a cute little bow that can go on a lantern top. And this is a really quick and easy way to just add a little extra festivity to your decoration, your decor for a holiday. And you end up with something like this. And how adorable is that? It was really fast. So I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to do a little, we'll do a scrunchy ribbon bow next. So let me pull up a little bit of Bowdabra bow wire. And this will make another good gift wrapping package, gift bag, something like that. I think these are they're more real festive, and they're great for gift giving. So what I have here are some leaves or some berries from, I don't know, they came off of a stem. So some little berries, and I have 3 leaves off of a bush that I didn't use. So I'm going to go ahead and place them down in here in the Bowdabra, and I'm going to I'll use all 3 of them. So I've got 1 on each side, and then I'm going to take about, there's 1 yard. I'm going to use about 2 yards of our Bowdabra scrunchy ribbon. Cut that off. Put that aside. And again, if you put it out in front of you, like we did the other stuff, and twist it there, it'll actually roll smoother. So I'm going to fold the ends under so there's no fraying. Find the center and just start scrunching it. So it's going to end up looking like a flower when we get done.
The scrunchy ribbon doesn't fray, Joette.
It doesn't what?
Doesn't
Oh,
fray.
it doesn't
Oh,
fray, but I cut it jagged.
oh, okay.
That's what I meant. I didn't cut it straight. So just scrunch it, scrunch it, scrunch it. And at the end, I'm just going to go turn it under again. Pull that down. And you got a chance right now to get it even. If you messed up, get it in there even. So I've got 3 more things to add. I'm going to add a berry on each side, and then I'm going back to the other side just for good measure. And I'm going to pull my wire out from underneath the Bowdabra. Pull the loose ends through the loop in. Make sure everything's in it. Pull it tight while it's still in there. Remove it. And this is the cutest little bow. And this would be cute on a lantern as well. I mean, but I think it's more festive and cute for gift wrap, but it could be, you can use it for whatever you like, especially if you like glitzy and festive looking things like I do. So just separate your greenery, and then you want to fluff it. It fluffs up really pretty. And then you end up with this cute little festive florally looking bow, and that would look so beautiful on a package. So I'm going to set that aside. It looks like we have time for one more thing, and surely I have something over here we can do. I have all kinds of stuff I can do. Oh, excuse me 1 second, and I will I'll pull something apart that we did last week and make something else different with it. So I'm going to take something that we did on a sign, and I'm going to show you how you can reuse your stuff. So I'm always reusing, recycling. That's my thing. I like to reuse, upcycle, and do stuff different. So I've got this spring ribbon, and we can use this as another example of how to make another lantern. So we have, I'm just pulling it out. So a lot of times it doesn't take much when you have to pull something apart. That's why I like to tie mine in a bow, because I like to reuse things a lot. I don't like to throw things away. So I'm going to cut a length of Bowdabra bow wire, place it down in the Bowdabra, get it in the Bowdabra, not around it, and we're going to tuck the ends underneath and out of the way. And then I have, let's see what we can put with it. I've got all kinds of stuff laying here, but nothing that matches what I want to use. All right, so what we're going to do is just make a scrappy bow. So I'm going to trim the wrinkles off. This is the fastest thing we can make and the easiest bow we have. So I've got, doesn't even matter if the lengths are the same. We're going to place that down in the middle, and I'm going to cut a tail on this one. One has a tail. So again, it doesn't matter if they're the same length or not. It still turns out really pretty. So I'm going to cut this one.
It's a great way to use up your scraps of ribbon.
Great. So like I say, if you save ribbon and you want to do something different, here's a perfect example how to do it. And so you can use this on anything too. So look, all these different lengths. So I'm going to scrunch this down, and I'm going to leave that for the end. So I'm going to go ahead and take, this actually would make 2 pieces. I'm going to cut it in half and dovetail. So look how fast you can dovetail. And this one, I'm going to just give it, I'm going to cut the wrinkly end off and leave it kind of long. But again, this is how we use our scraps. If we have different scraps and mix and match, this is how you do it. So end up with a pile like this. I've got a couple of more items. I want to put these at the top, so because they're smaller. Fold this in half and this in half. And it looks like we have our guests trying to come back, so, but we're almost done. He can't take over the show. All right, one more time. We don't normally dovetail on camera. We try to already have it done so you don't have to watch. So this is a good lesson in case you needed to learn how to dovetail. So we're going to take the bigger pieces, place them down in the Bowdabra. And this is some of our burlap ribbon that we have. It comes in different sizes, 1.5 and 2.5 inches. I believe it goes, we might even have some up to 4 inches wide. So there we go. And I want to go ahead and use this. Actually, I'm going to scrunchy bow that one. I'll end it with the one we started with. So even though I have it dovetailed, I can just fold those under and scrunchy bow it down. And that's it. Let me go ahead and tie it up. We're going to pull the loose ends through the looped end. Oh, Sandy, you never know what's going to happen when I'm on. Fire alarms and grandkids. All right, we're going to go ahead and tie it up. And dogs. Yeah, did you hear that? Always going to be a surprise if it goes smooth and not surprising if it goes smooth and quiet. Okay, and just separate your tails just like you would your loops, but you don't really have to fluff them. You can pull them up if you want, but you end up with this adorable bow. And again, you could use this one for a hair bow, gift package bow, all different wreath, a small wreath bow. You move that wire so you can actually see. And then you end up with something like this.
Joette.
Yeah, thank you. So we took it apart from another kind of bow and made this. So this is different ways you can use the Bowdabra, and we thank everybody for watching. And sorry for
swag again? Can you show the swag again?
Yes.
Again?
Yes. Okay. I'll show you everything we made. Okay. This is the one we just made, the scrappy bow. We made a little flower bow out of our Bowdabra scrunchy ribbon. We made a lantern swag. We made a package bow, wreath bow, whatever kind of bow you want to use that for. And then we made a door swag, and I didn't finish fluffing it out, but we have a picture of it done already where it's fluffed out. But we have a big old door swag.
Thanks everybody for watching, and Joette, thanks so much for doing our live for us today.
You're welcome. Bye everybody. Thank you.